Welcome back to my channel, Strawburbs. Today, I wanted to do a full moon ritual with you guys. I know that the full moon was 2 days ago, but the full moon energy lasts like 3 days before and 3 days after. So I'm just in time because it was 2 days ago. So after I had my really big trip, which if you haven't seen the video, you'll see it's called Growing Up, the video. My energy is completely different. Like, I have so much compassion for myself. I'm so much slower in my movements. And then on the full moon, because it was my last night in Canggu and I just moved to Ubud, by the way, look at this view. Oh my gosh. And there's not really, this is not a club area. So I was like, let me go out one last night. And when I went out, I felt really bad the next day. It just didn't align with what I want, how I want to feel, and I just literally feel like it fucked up the flow of the energy that I had going. Literally, I feel like it fucked it up. I know that I'll find it again, I'll come back to it again, but I really want to do something for myself to align with that, and that is taking care of myself. So that's why today we're gonna do work with the moon, so she can help me with that, because she does that and she loves me and she'll do that. I also just recently realized how much I have been parenting myself from such a young age because of the relationship I had with my mom. I'm gonna share this with you guys. My mom messaged me yesterday and we don't really talk. We barely ever talk, and that's honestly how I like it right now. She essentially asked me, how do you want me to communicate with you? She essentially is asking me, how do you want me to treat you? And from the dynamic that we had, I was like, it doesn't really feel good for me to tell you how to treat me. And then she responds with a really long message, and she says that I'm learning that in healthy relationships, people communicate how they want to be loved. And she's like, so this is something that I would like from you. If I don't know how to show up for you, I get in my head and I accept this about myself. And this is just a way that I need to be loved. I need to be loved by you communicating this to me. That's not apparent. Something that I've learned about parents when reparenting myself and reconnecting with my dad as well, is that parents are selfless. You don't give to your child and expect something back. You don't have a relationship with your child where you say, hey, this is what I need, and then this is what you need, and this is what I need. You say, what do you need, and I'll give it to you. Because I've got myself, and I'm your parent. My mom doesn't understand what being a parent is. She looks at our connection as if it needs to be equal. That is not how a parent-child dynamic should be. It shouldn't be equal. It should be your parent being selfless to love you. And something I've realized is I communicated back to her and I just literally said, I hear you and I agree with what you said about communication, but with you being my parent, it doesn't feel right for me to tell you how to treat me because I'm still healing from feeling like I had to parent you. So I'm sorry, but right now that just doesn't feel good for me. And she was just okay, I hear you. And it just really made me upset, and it made me realize how much I parented her. How much I was constantly giving her selfless love. Which is obviously something that now I'm have given to myself. And when reconnecting with my dad doesn't say, how do you want me to treat you? How do you want me to show up for you? My dad says, I love you and I'm going to show you that. I love you, so I'm going to call you. I love you, so I'm going to ask you questions. I love you, so I'm going to do this. I don't need your permission to show you that I love you. I don't need you to parent me so I can know how to parent you. Being a parent is not about equal. It's not about it being equal. It's not the point. And that's why people that have parental wounds expect connections and relationships to be one-sided. Is because if they had a mother wound, then they want somebody to mother them. And if they're expecting a partner to mother them, then they're expecting that partner to selflessly love them, and that's not okay in a romantic or platonic relationship. But if they can learn to give that to themselves, and they can recognize, oh, this is something that I should have with a parent, I should have with myself, but it's not something that I should bring into a relationship dynamic. So that is something that happened yesterday, and it honestly triggered me. And I think that it directly relates to what I went through on my shrooms trip and how I'm learning to show up for myself. Because usually I am like I'm like a masochist. I think that's what it's called, where you feel pain and then you just consistently put yourself in pain, more and more pain, because pain is more comfortable than love. So it's like if I had worked through a wound or I got triggered in some way, my brain immediately is like, okay, validate that wound by listening to music that relates to that wound, putting yourself into sad energy, feel. And then I get stuck in the energy instead of showing myself a new way. Instead of saying, okay, well, this wound is valid, but what is it that you would want from your mom? Or what is it that you would want from this wound? And how can you show it for yourself in a positive way, something that brightens your day, instead of sitting in the wound and holding onto it because you're so comfortable in that reality. Like, it's quite literally self-sabotage. So now I'm like, I don't want to sit in the feelings, I don't want to sit in the wound, and that's only because I've already processed this wound. I have processed my emotions with it, I have cried about it a million fucking times, and now I'm at the space in my life where like I'm just ready to let it go, and I'm ready for this to not be, for my past to not define my personality. So we are going to need a journal, a piece of paper, doesn't really matter, a piece of paper and a pen. And what I like to do for the full moon is I like to write down a list of everything that I want to release, because full moons are for releasing, new moons are for manifesting. So I'm gonna do it with you guys, and if you want to use some of mine, of course, go ahead. If you want to create your own, of course, go ahead. And some of them are so simple, some of them are so deep. Like, I really just open my mind and I'm like, what is it in my life that I want to release? I release any need for external validation. I really, guys, want you to notice too the words that I'm using. Like when I say I release the need, I release the mindset, I release the attachment. Like, some of the things that I release, I think somebody can perceive as, like, I release the need for external validation. It is okay to be externally validated. But if you're needing it, then it becomes a drug, and then it becomes unhealthy. So it's like a lot of the things that I release is the attachment of consistently chasing it instead of seeing, hey, it's right here in front of me. So when I write these things down, I'm giving the moon and I'm telling the moon, hey, this is what I would like to release. I'd like to release this mindset. And some of these mindsets are related to subconscious wounds. And subconscious wounds, the moon works with the subconscious. The moon is the subconscious mind. So when I'm writing these things down, I'm giving the moon permission to help me work with my subconscious and process out these habits, these mindsets, these attachments until the next full moon. So you'll even notice that if you write these things down and you're releasing a mindset, or you're releasing perspectives, or you want perspective shifts, throughout the process of this full moon to the next, you'll have new perspective shifts. You'll maybe face challenges of these mindsets coming up and you getting the opportunity to choose something different, to shift how you're seeing it, to shift how you're changing it, knowing that you yourself are wanting to release it. So this isn't like, when I'm working with the moon, I'm working as a team. I'm not saying, hey moon, I'm gonna write these things down and now they're gonna be gone. I'm saying, hey moon, hey mother mommy moon, I am open and ready to grow and change how I am thinking. So help me become aware of these patterns so I can do something about it. That's how I see working with the moon. And I love the moon so much, and I think there's so much, me as a Cancer, with Cancer stellium, literally rules the moon. There's so much respect, self-respect, and external respect when it comes to working with the moon, because she's such a powerful healer. I release survival-based living. And just straight up, I release my past. Like, it's literally not serving me. I release the fear of slowing down. I release any mindset that is hindering me from trusting myself. I release the need to fix myself. I think that's a big one. I release old mindsets created from trauma. If you guys hear that, there's construction upstairs, so sorry. I release the belief that I am alone. That is huge, because that is something huge I learned in my shrooms trip. When I was like so scared, I was so alone, I just like wanted to talk to this guy that I met. And then once I started filming myself, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm literally here for myself. I felt like I was actually present with myself for the first time ever. And it really helped me let go of the mindset and the belief that I am alone and I need someone else. So I release the belief that I am alone. I release the attachment of external security. That's huge. Because external security is, of course, like it's so valid to want that. But if you're only seeking security and safety outside of yourself, that's when you're not gonna find it. So it's like once you find that within yourself, then it starts to manifest externally. So like I think it's okay to want, but to be attached is where like issues are created. I release any fear of stillness. I'm a pretty fast moving gal, and I think sometimes that's not a good thing. Honestly, this is really like validating for me to write this down, because usually, guys, my list is like so long. Like usually it is just like packed. It is super, super long. And I'm actually having a hard time thinking of a lot of things, but that's just because I'm so much more aligned to the life that I want emotionally. And when I'm working with the moon, I'm usually I'm releasing things that are hindering my ability to feel safe. And I just always want to feel safe. And so right now this is really mirroring to me. I'm like, I have worked so much through feeling safe that I really don't have that many things to release, and that's okay. My mindset right now is like, you need to write down more. But I'm like, no, I don't. It is what it is. This is what I have right now, and I'm happy with what I have. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to keep my list at that. Feel free to expand your list. I then love to write a letter to the moon, kind of expressing my gratitude for how much she helps me and my willingness to work with the energy. So I'm going to write my letter, and then I can read to you guys what it says. Okay, my letter says, Dear Mother Moon, thank you so much for helping me get to where I am today. I'm immensely grateful for everything that you've helped me shift within the past year. I ask of you to help me shift my mindset and release old patterns to feel the ultimate level of internal peace, stillness, and safety. Help me maintain this mindset with courage and strength if and when any challenges arise. Thank you so much. I love you. Sincerely, your daughter, Haley. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to rip it out. Maybe you don't need to rip it out. Maybe you already have it ripped out. And usually I would burn this, but we're going to do something different today. So I'm going to roll it away from me because I'm releasing these things. And if you want to bring something in, you're going to roll it towards you. So I rolled it away from me. And now, because I'm in this nature, paper disintegrates, all right? Paper, you know what I mean? It disintegrates, so I'm not littering, all right? I have water right down here, so I'm gonna put mine in the stream, especially because I'm working with emotion. So I'm gonna put mine in the stream. And now, she is free. And she will be released.